Well, hello there guys, welcome back to Decisive Campaigns Barbarossa. So, as many of you know, well, if you don't, make sure to watch episode 1. We've uploaded that already, and essentially this is going to be a live stream series. But what we've managed to do is push up pretty well. We're going for a loyalist approach, so essentially a really bad guy approach. What I'm trying to do is create some more encirclement here, and I think the only way to do that is to move these units out of the way. But nonetheless, we also have to push the Soviets out of the northeast near Riga, so I might go ahead and just take this opportunity to go for a full-on attack. Although, as you can see, our tank is slightly out of formation, and that's a problem. The enemy could easily overrun that unit, so we want to go ahead quickly, get rid of them, and potentially we can move this tank a little more, but as you can see, he's out of fuel. We could actually just get fuel for that one tank, but the SS unit is also out of fuel, so I'm guessing that the entire army group is going to need to refuel, and that's going to be this one right here, the 4th Panzer Group. So we're going to call in our first card here, use the Luftwaffe to resupply Army Group North, and go ahead, and the 4th Panzer Group is what we're looking for here. Let's play the card, if you think about it. And there we go. So they'll be getting some supply fairly soon, although I believe we do have to wait a few turns, or one turn at least. So for now, they're not moving anywhere, and I'm just going to seal off this front entirely, make sure that there's no breakthroughs there. We could have gone for an attack, but I think this is a little safer. As for this area here, I still want to really push across that bridge. I consider this bridge really the key to entrapping those units. So we're going to attack across it with some Wehrmacht units here. Beautiful. We forced them to retreat. Now let's see if we can actually get our guys in this area. As you can see, I told you guys this was a tough bridge to take. And you can see, even now, we're forced to actually sort of just move in single file to get in here, so it's definitely not easy. I'm going to go ahead and try to move this unit out. That would be one key to the encirclement. Try to do it with just 2 units. I think we've got enough terror to get them to retreat immediately. Let's hope so. Okay, wow. If we can get some units here, guys. Let's see if anybody can move. Oh, I'm checking with every unit. I could care less, because if we can get a single unit to move behind them, they're in very serious trouble there. Looks like we're going to have to attack with that additional Wehrmacht unit, and I don't think it's worth it. So I'm going to hold for now. I will put pressure on these guard units here. Go ahead and attack with a full-strength attack. Oh, yeah. They did retreat, but you can see they put up a bit of a fight. They understand what's at play here and what's at stake. We're going to further try to trap them in here, so I think this helps. But, of course, getting some units back here behind them is the real key to making this particular attack work. Let's see, we might be able to go ahead and just finish them off. I'm going to try. I'll send in the additional Wehrmacht unit. Don't want to move him forward, so let's see if this is good enough. Going to make sure here. Test. Yeah, Mike is good. Okay. All right. I think one thing that is absolutely going to be the case, and it's kind of got me worried, is since Russia is so massive, but specifically Central Russia is massive, we're going to have to eventually rest and resupply our units. And why does that scare me? Because time is lost, and we need to move as quickly as possible. You can see I'm even ignoring some potential attacks here just to get these attacks out quick. So we will go ahead and attack, but I think I'm also going to order either a rest and resupply, or we order in some more Luftwaffe, or Luftwaffe fuel units, just to bring in some fuel for our men, etc. But they're going to have to rest one way or another. So, I don't know. Maybe we either do it now or we do it later. And this is actually true that during the Eastern Front assault, potentially during other assaults, but I specifically heard it happening during Barbarossa, the Germans were given amphetamines in their food, their drink, etc. So often they didn't even know they were getting them, and this was used to kind of push them up along the front. And you can see we've got a lot of tank units here that are just desperate for some resupply. So let's see, where is our tank general? There he is. So I'm actually going to resupply the 2nd Panzer Group here with Hans Guderian's 2nd Panzer Group. Let's go ahead, call in the Luftwaffe. And Army Group Center. 2nd Panzer Group HQ. And we're going to need to resupply another one as well. That's not going to be sufficient, but next turn we'll resupply the additional Panzer Groups. For now, we just want to keep on pushing into enemy territory. We can't move over here because that would be out of our actual division line, I guess you could call it. What I do want to try is to attack that general there. And if we can't, I'm more than happy to just attack this armored car. So let's hit this unit, the 22nd... Oh, it's a tank division. 22nd Tank Division will give him our full attention. And there we go. Quite a few units retreating. But my biggest goal, of course, is to take that guy down. In fact, let's bring in some Hungarians. And he can get in here. Let's see if the cavalry can also join. He can't get over here to do damage to the general, but at least we'll attack here. And since the general is so poorly guarded, I think we'll be able to actually do a pretty good job. It's going to be General Goborov or Korobov. Okay, they did hold, but you can see the damage to the units here is monumental. One more attack and they're going to break for sure. Just want to make sure we don't forget any units during these attacks, and that we continue trying to blitz. So this is a good example right here. The road to Rovno, just pretty much pushing our tank through and taking this road by force. Let's go ahead and also strike this unit, so we've got a little more movement. I want to make sure that I save my SS and my tank units for future attacks. So we're just going to use our infantry for this assault. Let's hope it's sufficient, and it definitely is. All right. Nonetheless, still plenty of Soviets here, so we'll just try to get our infantry up there to fight. Come on, boys. Want to use most of our tanks just to outmaneuver the enemy. And that's why this guy also is going to try to go for the outmaneuver. And we're going to try to knock out this rifle division. So full attack with 2 armored divisions. Come on, boys. Oh, they held. That's not what we wanted to see. They definitely held. Nonetheless, we'll go for an attack right here. Although these guys seem to be pretty well dug in. Yeah, we're not going to go for that attack. It's a bit crazy. Let's see who else we can potentially bring in for this one. In fact, we'll just go ahead and get the cavalry out of the way. Then we don't have to think about it. And I think we only need 2 units for this. The rest should be able to use those attacks later. Okay. So again, the 16th Panzer Group also out of fuel. This is why we're going to have to wait for that 2nd Wehrmacht, or I should say Luftwaffe plane to arrive to drop off some additional fuel. So it only took us 2 turns for our men to completely go short on fuel. That just goes to show you the seriousness of this current situation. Now, a lot of Soviets hanging out right there, but all of them have been pretty badly beaten up. So let's hope that this whacking from the Wehrmacht will completely break them up. Of course, it would be even better if we could get them to surrender. And they still held, which gives us more time to form, of course, a real encirclement here. But as you can see, it's hard to get those encirclements when our tanks are out of fuel. So again, not much we can do about that until next turn. Might as well go ahead and hit these other rifle divisions just kind of hanging out around the place. Okay, panicked and fleeing. Let's see if we can't follow that up with some additional damage. Now, the Hungarian cavalry's already seen combat this turn. But nonetheless, it looks like they absolutely have another attack in them. Now, you might be looking at this open territory like, oh my goodness, this is great, Agrippa. You've got all this room to flank. But this is the Dnieper swamps, and no one's getting through that. I just love to see, like, a documentary on the culture that lives in that swampy area, because it must be really tough to eke out a living over here. We're also going to move our generals a little bit closer, but again, our 1st Panzer Group is out of fuel as well, and we can't call in additional air support until next turn. Let's see, get these units forward at least. The 71st. Hey, Araman, how you doing, man? Good to see you, some French dude. Ah, he's giving me the hotkeys. Cheers. Blitzkrieg, the Soviet lines are encircle the Russians, says Delta Commander. Yeah, I think encirclement is what we're going for, but they're smart. The AI in this game is quite intelligent, and we saw that last turn where they actually moved back their entire front. So I don't know if it's going to work, especially not in the center, where we've had serious fuel issues. Now, we're going to actually do some decisions here in a second, so we might be able to maybe make some better decisions and get some fuel sooner, open up some additional bases, etc. But really, I think it's going to come down to just waiting for the Luftwaffe to deliver it. So we're kind of at a standpoint here, where there's just not much we can do this turn except get closer to the Soviets. And they have pretty much left Grodno open, they left Brest-Litovsk open, they didn't even really put up a fight. So I think they're aware of our attempts to encircle, and they're trying to avoid that in any way they can. So the AI in this game definitely seems to pick up on the human player's approach. A lot of the times, if I just try to, you know, swing it out with them with a blitzkrieg attack, they'll actually stay there and fight it out. Oh, sorry. I'll also move our general up here. Good old General Obert Strauss. And for those of you just joining us, we've accomplished some pretty successful attacks in the north. We're going for the same encirclement here, and you can see there's just 2 tiles separating us from a bunch more Soviet prisoners. We've already taken a few armies captive, but if we can take even more, obviously that's going to help us out. I think in the first few weeks of Barbarossa, if somebody wants to correct me in the comments, feel free, but I'm pretty sure it was 600,000 Soviet prisoners in the first few weeks, so we've got to try to beat that record if we want any chance of a victory. I don't think there's any point in attacking again if we've used up all of the points here. Let's see if we can add on to the stack. We really... but since they're so weak, I'm really tempted to, but no. I've learned enough about this game that attacks like that are not going to benefit us at all. Let's take a look here. Those Hungarians are not going to be able to do much, but yeah, for now we're just going to stay put. I will try to break through on the rest of the line, however. I don't know if the Romanians are just not great soldiers, or if the Soviets on the line here are just especially good. No, the Romanians don't have the greatest equipment, but they're fine troops. So, in addition to our German units in this area, we can really do quite a lot of damage. So, I'm going to bring in the Hungarians so they get some battle experience. See if we can't force these guys to retreat fully. Oh, they held. They did get hurt, but they certainly held on. That's got me a little annoyed, because I want to take Odessa immediately. I want that oil. I don't think this is going to go so well, but we've got to take the risk. If it doesn't, we can eventually bring in the Germans. Got to at least damage them a bit, and we did panic the armored unit here. So semi-victory, I'd call it that at least. Full attack on their armor. Beautiful. Almost completely destroyed this, although in this game I find it's rare to completely destroy something on one attack, unless he's already taken a lot of damage. Yeah, we can probably follow up with additional attacks on the enemy tank and the enemy infantry in the region here, so let's see if we can go ahead and destroy it. We might be able to. I think we'll just order him to retreat almost immediately. Broken. Beautiful. And let's get rid of the cavalry regiment. Rest of those attacks can go over here, I believe. Beautiful. We've got a huge retreat there. But of course, we've got a lot of ground to cover. And the area here of... I was going to say modern-day Ukraine, but not here. The area of modern-day Ukraine is quite hilly, and there's a lot of actual land to cover here. So I'm not expecting that to be an easy invasion at all. I think it'll take more than just our Romanian units. All right, let's take a look at our decisions here. So, civilian oil allocation, and this is going to be very important. We need all of that civilian oil. A war demands sacrifices from everyone, not just the Wehrmacht. So we've got 48 political points to spend, and I am confident that that is an extremely important point. Now, decorated allows us to... oh, the Fuhrer. Wait a minute. I thought this was something else. That's right. I've never gone the Hitlerite approach, so we're actually getting noticed by Hitler himself. The Fuhrer is very impressed by my service. Decided that I should be decoration. Great honor, is looking forward to talking to you in person when I fly to Berlin. We're here at Zossen. We understand that you're busy, but it's an important occasion. Yes, of course. We're going to fly to Berlin. We're spending 11 political points for that. The ceremony was full of noise and color. Very admirable. You requested a private session with the Fuhrer, but it didn't eventuate. He declined to provide you with additional resources, but he complimented you on your good work. Well, it's a 63, so it's like slightly good. I didn't get anything for it except his respect. Now, poor performance. Our chief of staff is a problem. We can authorize electroshock therapy, and again, we are going for the Hitlerite approach, so we're going to go for electroshock therapy. He's not going to do that again. And for transferring our chief of staff, we should insist on the transfer. He's very, very useful. We should also relocate one of these, if we're able to Kaunas, and I believe we are. So that's looking good. Of course, I hope that oil allocation is going to be sufficient. We're still, of course, changing the rail lines, etc., doing a lot of things like that. So we do need to take time out for that to occur. But I'm hoping that we'll have enough fuel in the upcoming turn to continue the blitz. Because here in the center, near Minsk, our tanks are just running out of fuel. Not just near Minsk, but also near Kiev. Just our center in general. Our tanks just don't have enough to keep on going. They've come all the way from Windau in here, and just that distance, probably also because of the terrain, that's not helping, but just that distance alone has put them in a pretty awful spot. So, that being said, I think we'll end the turn here pretty soon. This is not going to be a particularly long stream, but since I decided to make this, a streamable sort of series, I went ahead and decided, hey, I just want to play one turn, but I might as well let the boys see it, So here we are. Okay, let's end the turn here. Hello, cool TM. Cool trademark, I like that. Make sure to also hit that like button, folks. That always helps. Let's see how the Soviets respond. Look, so they're not in any direct danger of being encircled. They might not fall back as much as they did last turn, but near Minsk, look at that. I mean, exactly where we were doing well. And near Daugavpils, yep, they're going to try to retreat, just trying to get out of that encirclement under any circumstances. So I think the goal is going to be to attack their armored unit there so that we can encircle that 330-something infantry unit, which is probably the equivalent of, like, I'm guessing 220,000, 230,000 men. So it'd be a huge victory. Now, let's see. This is where we're trying to get the blitz right here west of Kiev. Let's see if they're able to push our tanks back, potentially even trap one of our tanks. They weren't able to. We're very, very lucky that they didn't. But let's go ahead. Start the turn. All right. A poor relationship with von Rundstedt gives penalties. That's not good. Von Rundstedt can be a problem. Unteroffizier Florian has heard that once we have conquered Rusland, we'll be assigned to the invasion of Iceland. It isn't popular news, as Iceland sounds to be even worse than where we are at present. Sven says that they have huge grizzly bears that can bite you in half. I'm staying here. Alright, good old Sven. So let me just take a look quickly, because I want to see if our tanks were resupplied by the civilian oil allocations. Yes, they were. Okay. That's very good news for next turn. I thought we were going to have to bring in the Luftwaffe, and maybe we will still bring in the Luftwaffe and drop them some additional fuel, but for now their fuel is at 100, so it's doing fine. Man, that civilian oil really made the difference. Let's also try to break through here, because this is a key area, and I also want to go through our casualties list so that we get a look at that. But if we are able to trap that infantry, man, you guys have no idea how good it's going to be for us. Here we go. Full attack. We are stacking big time. Oh, they just barely held. They just barely held. They absolutely know what's at stake, though. You can tell there. So let's take a look here at the administration brief. Let's take a look at the stats. Casualties sustained. So far, 289,000 Soviet casualties to match our 48,000 German casualties. Still want to bring that number up, and our casualties, I have to say, are a bit high for week 1 of the invasion, or maybe not. Maybe that's acceptable. What do you guys think? I feel like that's just a little bit too high. Just get one more attack here. I want to thank everybody for stopping by this stream. It always helps when you hit the like button, drop some comments down below, and just when you guys are present here. For anybody that is watching this after the stream, feel free to backseat game. If you have any suggestions for how you want us to approach this, please do let us know. But this is the situation as it stands. I feel like we're really going to gobble Minsk up very soon. But if we're going to take Minsk, we should probably also consider using this army to assist the units taking Riga. I don't know. You guys know better than me. Thanks so much, guys. I'll catch you on the next.